Close your eyes now, and imagine you are floating gently above a map of the world. Below you, the blue expanse of the Mediterranean Sea shimmers softly in the late afternoon light. And there, reaching down from the heart of Europe like an outstretched leg stepping into warm water, is Italy. Italy is one of the most immediately recognizable countries on Earth. Fact 1. Its shape, that long, elegant peninsula stretching nearly 1,200 kilometers from north to south, looks unmistakably like a boot. Italians themselves affectionately call it lo stivali, the boot. And as you drift slowly downward in your imagination, floating closer to the coastline, you begin to sense just how old this land truly is. The mountains along its spine, the great Apennine Range, have been standing for millions of years. Ancient, quiet, and vast. They run all the way from the northwestern tip of the country down through its long leg, like a backbone holding everything together. Italy shares this backbone with two of the smallest countries in the entire world. Nestled within its borders, yes, actually inside Italy, are the tiny nations of Vatican City and San Marino. Vatican City, in the heart of Rome, is the smallest country on Earth by both area and population. San Marino, tucked into the hills of northern Italy, claims the title of the world's oldest republic, with roots stretching back to the year 301 AD. Let that number settle over you for a moment. 301 AD. A time so distant it can barely be imagined. And yet, the traditions that began then are still gently alive today. As you imagine yourself drifting southward along the Italian coast, the air grows warmer. The sea below shimmers in shades of deep blue and pale turquoise. The smell of salt and pine drifts upward. Italy has one of the longest coastlines in Europe. Over 7,600 kilometers of shoreline, touched by the Tyrrhenian Sea to the west, the Adriatic to the east, and the Ionian to the south. It is a country almost entirely surrounded by water. And yet it is also a land of soaring peaks. Fact 3. In the far north, the Alps form Italy's natural border with France, Switzerland, Austria, and Slovenia. And among those peaks stands Mont Blanc, known in Italian as Monte Bianco, the White Mountain, which is the highest point in all of Western Europe, rising to 4,808 meters above the sea. On clear days, from the valleys below, its snow-covered summit floats above the clouds like something from a dream. Imagine now that you are in one of those valleys. It is evening. The light is golden and slow. The air is cool and carries the faint sound of cowbells from somewhere far up the hillside. You are perfectly warm, perfectly still. Italy's landscapes hold every kind of beauty. From those icy alpine peaks, the land descends into the great flat plain of the Pi Valley, one of the most fertile stretches of land in all of Europe. Then further south, the hills begin to roll and soften, draped in vineyards and olive groves and fields of sunflowers. Fact 4. Italy is the largest producer of wine in the entire world. Each year, Italian vineyards produce somewhere around 49 million hectoliters of wine, more than any other country on Earth. The Romans were already cultivating grapevines 2,500 years ago, and the tradition has flowed unbroken ever since, like the wine itself, from generation to quiet generation. Picture a hillside vineyard in Tuscany at dusk. The rows of vines stretch away in perfect lines, their leaves just beginning to turn gold at the edges. A farmhouse sits in the middle distance, its warm yellow stone glowing in the last of the evening light. Somewhere inside a fire is lit. Dinner is being prepared slowly with patience. Fact 5. Italy is home to 36 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, more than any other country in the world. These are places of such extraordinary cultural or natural significance that they are considered part of the shared heritage of all humanity. Ancient ruins, Renaissance city centers, volcanic islands, prehistoric rock carvings, each one a thread in an impossibly rich tapestry. The country has been at the center of Western civilization for over 2,000 years. And everywhere you look in Italy, that history rises up quietly from the ground. You cannot walk far without standing in the shadow of something ancient. Fact 6. Rome, the capital, was once the heart of an empire that stretched from Scotland to Mesopotamia, from the sands of the Sahara to the banks of the Rhine. At its height, the Roman Empire governed over 70 million people, nearly a quarter of the world's entire population at the time. The roads they built, the legal systems they laid down, the language they spoke, Latin, echoed forward through the centuries and still shape the world we live in today. Imagine walking through Rome at night. The streets are narrow and paved with ancient cobblestones, worn smooth by 2,000 years of footsteps. The city is quiet now. Warm lamplight spills from doorways. You pass a fountain, the sound of water, soft and constant, and then you round a corner, and there it is, the Colosseum, bathed in amber light against a dark sky. Enormous. Silent. Ill. Fact 7. The Colosseum was completed in 80 AD and could hold between 50,000 and 80,000 spectators. It was the largest amphitheater ever built in the Roman world, and its engineering was so advanced that the basic principles behind it are still used in stadium design today. Nearly 2,000 years later, it stands, not entirely but magnificently, as one of the most visited monuments on Earth. Let your breathing slow now. In and out, each breath slower than the last. Italy is a country that does not rush. There is a word in Italian, pianissimo, which in music means very softly, very gently. And that is something of the spirit of Italy at rest. Gentle, unhurried, warm. Fact 8. The Italian language itself is considered one of the closest living languages to Latin. Its musicality, the rolling vowels, the lyrical rhythm of its sentences, is no accident. Italian evolved directly from the spoken Latin of ordinary Roman citizens, and it carried with it that ancient music. It is the language of opera, of poetry, of love letters written by candlelight. Let Italy carry you now into sleep. Let its warm colors fade slowly into darkness behind your eyes. The vineyards, the canals, the mountains, the old stones, the sound of water, the smell of bread. Good night.